I feel like Chaos Theory just kind of snuck up on me. Like, I knew it was coming out, and obviously by how fast I got this video out, I mean, I did watch it right when it was announced, or when it came out. But yeah, I feel like I saw a trailer for it or two, and then it just kind of was here. And so now we're gonna talk about it. Before that, I'd say probably give my thoughts on Camp Cretaceous, since this is a sequel series, and if we're being honest, it's pretty much just Camp Cretaceous Season 5, just different name. So, kind of like how Transformers Prime went from Transformers Beast Hunters, even though it's the exact same series and really it's just a new season. But, you know, I get the change in the name branding. It means you can change all the names for the toys and the packaging and stuff, and then, you know, trick all the kids who can't read into getting more dinosaur toys. Not that I can really say anything on that, of course, but I really like Camp Cretaceous as a whole. By no means is it a perfect series. There isn't really such a thing, but overall, I really enjoy Camp Cretaceous. Even some of the weaker seasons, like Season 4 and Season 5, they're still very enjoyable to me. And I've done reviews on Seasons 3 through 5 on this channel, just because that's kind of right when I started getting more into movie reviews as opposed to just whatever popped in my head. And so, Chaos Theory, first impressions, I literally just finished it 2 minutes ago. I really enjoyed it. First thoughts, it reminds me of Jurassic World Dominion done right, or at least kind of what I wanted Jurassic World Dominion to be. Because for those who don't know, you can also, you know, check them out. I'll include the playlist of all my Jurassic Park related content on this channel that I've talked about. But I am not the biggest fan of Dominion. Dominion is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It's on my top 10 least favorite movies, which is impressive because Fallen Kingdom was on that list, and I didn't think you could get something worse than Fallen Kingdom. And so, but one reason for Dominion being so terrible, I mean, there's a lot, but I'd say a couple is one, you have this world full of dinosaurs and you don't capitalize on it. Instead, you give us locusts, because that's what everyone really wanted to see from a Jurassic World movie. We wanted to see giant bugs. And so, that was one of the reasons, because I didn't go into Dominion with very high standards. I went in with pretty minimal standards, just expecting, hey, just be fun, just give me some fun dinosaur action. I've given up a long time on expecting anything deep from anything past the first Jurassic Park movie, so at least give me something entertaining. But it wasn't even that. I feel like the dinosaur action we got in Dominion was so minimal, and there was definitely a cool scene here and there, but I felt like a lot of it just felt very half is probably the best way to put it. And so, coming back to Chaos Theory, I feel like it kind of does more with what Dominion probably should have been, where it's trying to stop these smugglers, and there's this big conspiracy. I guess I won't go into spoilers yet, but I really like that. Obviously it's silly, but you know, it's fun. And I feel like Chaos Theory, Camp Cretaceous, I mean, let's face it, I'm just gonna probably start calling this Camp Cretaceous Season 5 if we're being honest, or Season 6, I guess we already have Season 5. But Camp Cretaceous has always done usually a pretty good job of balancing pretty fun dinosaur action with heartfelt moments, and Chaos Theory is no exception. I think, at least for me, this probably has some of the best emotional moments in the entire series. A lot of angst and trauma, and so I don't think you should not expect that going in, because I think some people, I don't know how many people based on the age range of Camp Cretaceous. I know it was made for like older kids, but I know a lot of just Jurassic fans in general watch it. I mean, I watch it and I am a child at heart, I can say that much. But overall, I really liked it. Honestly, it might be my favorite out of all of Camp Cretaceous. Pretty hard. I'd probably have to rewatch Season 3 just because that is my favorite, and my understanding, I think that's a lot of people's favorites. I believe I did a poll a while back, and that's what everyone said, but Chaos Theory does a really good job of doing those emotional moments, and it does them right. And there is a lot of them, but it never feels overindulgent to me, at least for the most part. There's one or two where I felt, I don't want to say forced, it just felt like it dragged on a bit. And so that was, I don't want to say frustrating, but there was a couple times where I'm just kind of looking down at my watch and just thinking, yeah, okay, did we really need this scene? But this was honestly a really fun show. I think the more I think about it, the more I really did like it. I probably like a 7, 8 out of 10 and stuff. And I know a lot of people will be like, so you thought it was okay? No, a 5 out of 10 would be just okay, because that's right in the middle. 7 is, that's good. But so somewhere around there. The dinosaur action is a lot of fun. Again, for the most part, I feel like it's hard to talk about this, at least for me, without going into spoilers, because I feel a lot of the things that didn't really work for me, or did work for me, are things that I have talked about with the Jurassic franchise and just Camp Cretaceous in general. I guess right before, all the characters I thought were really amazing. I really liked how they all interacted with each other, and how you can definitely tell they are the same characters, but they don't just feel like the exact same characters, because several years have passed by. They actually feel like they've grown up and matured. Which I feel it could have been very easy for them to just make them exactly like how they were in Camp Cretaceous, but I feel like they really were trying with this show, and for the most part, I think it pays off. Again, I think if you like Camp Cretaceous, without a doubt, you'll like this show. I haven't really watched anyone else's reviews. I've just saw it was out, watched it, and now I'm recording right now, and so. Again, I don't really know what everyone else's reception. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say fairly positive. Although we're gonna have to go into spoilers, because probably the biggest issue I have has to do with a very critical plot point. And they do say in the trailer, but again, this is your final warning for spoilers. Brooklyn's death, and apparently she's not dead, which, when I found that out, I was extremely disappointed. I kind of feared, and deep down, I think I knew they weren't actually going to kill her off. But on the same hand, if you watch the rest of the series, you think, with how much they committed to all the emotional trauma and these really great conversations between characters, you think it would make her death permanent, the show would make her death permanent, and not just, oh, you know, she lost an arm, but, you know, she's still alive, and it by no means is it gonna negate the emotional moments that the characters have had with each other, because those are still very good. And as far as they know, she's dead. But on the same hand, and I get it was at the very end, it was like a post-credit scene, so it's not like we're watching the whole show and we know, well, she's alive, so what's the point? And again, these are really good emotional scenes. At least I really enjoyed them. I dare say some of the best in, honestly, probably just in the whole Jurassic franchise, since there's not a lot to compare to. And so it was a little frustrating that it felt like the show did not have the balls to keep her dead. I mean, I get it. They're building up to a bigger conspiracy, and obviously it's going to lead into Dominion, which is another reason why I didn't like it. It kind of reminds me of The Mandalorian, and the early season of Mandalorian at least, and you think, this is leading up to the sequel trilogy, isn't it? And like, no matter how good the show could be, it still has to build up to this terrible set of movies or events that are going to happen. And so when you have those elements, I mean, I'm sure some people probably liked it. I'm sure some people were like, wow, the Velociraptors, wow, the Broker, wow, blah, 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 and stuff. But for me, I just, groan, because that is such a bad movie. Yeah, it's my love-hate relationship with the Jurassic franchise is never ending, and I'm sure it's gonna continue that way with the new Jurassic World 4 or whatever, which I don't have high hopes for, but you know, I hope I'm wrong. Obviously with Dominion means the Atrociraptors, which the Atrociraptors were a very prominent thing in the show, and they're fine. But on the same hand, they are so incompetent at finding people. Even when they're 5 feet from them, they take forever to smell them. But then other scenes, they're super far away and they can smell them. And so they're just so inconsistent. It's so stupid. It's the same as the Indoraptor. They're supposed to be these highly efficient killing machines that are great for taking out targets, but on the same hand, they can't find people that are like 5 feet in front of them. And just, like, it builds tension, I get that, but on the same hand, you're always trying to build them up as these credible threats, but they're not. And so it's frustrating, again. If you like the Atrociraptors, I get it. I'm not doxing people for it and stuff. It's just Jurassic World Dominion. Good God. I can't even with that movie. The humor is also pretty hit or miss, I'd say. Sometimes there's some really funny scenes, others there's just some really cringy jokes that just drag out way too long. I mean, again, I feel like that's pretty standard Camp Cretaceous. But yeah, the Atrociraptors. There's also there's a lot of what I call just spit it out syndrome, where it's when you have characters talking to each other and one of them has a critical piece of information that they need to tell someone else, but they keep getting interrupted by the person they're trying to tell, and it just makes you want to say, just spit it out, man. Like, they eventually get to it, but it goes way too long, and it puts the characters in danger, and it leads to, you know, scary action scenes happening. It's fine. I'm fine. I'm all good with the action scenes, but on the same hand, just some of the frustrations in the writing, I would say, just really, they don't even irk me that much. It's just frustrating just enough, because I feel like if these issues were fixed, I'd honestly say this is probably like one of the best seasons, or just one of my favorite seasons of TV that I've ever seen. I make it sound like I did not like the first season of Chaos Theory. That's not true. I'm actually looking quite forward to it. It's just, you see something and it's good, but you know it could just be a little bit better, like a little bit better, and then it could be great. And you know, I'm not gonna say that's the most frustrating thing ever, because it still, for the most part, is a very satisfying season of television. But man, I think it's more just my hatred for Dominion, if anything. My hatred of Dominion honestly did not really affect my enjoyment of this show, of this season, that much. It's more just a personal thing. I just can't with Dominion. I just want to smack my head into a concrete slab whenever I think of Dominion or Fallen Kingdom. So, you know, I'll move past that. Actually, one last thing. Kenji's father dying. I really like how Kenji reacts to it, and I like how the show portrays it. The show doesn't try to portray it as, oh, it's so sad, because this guy tried to have kids killed. He is not a good person, and even then he tries to still manipulate and gaslight his son, so he's by no means a good person. And I think Kenji knows that, but you know, obviously he still sees his dad get eaten in front of him by dinosaurs, which I don't think an old man should be able to hold back an Atrociraptor even for that long. I mean, yeah, I get it was trying to get the two, but he's like an old frail man. How can those the Jurassic Park raptors, I'm pretty sure are canonically about the weight of an African lion. I've been around African lions. And the Velociraptors are supposed to be even beefier than the raptors. So, you know, I don't see like a 60, 70-year-old man being able to hold back an African lion, but whatever. Yeah. No, again, I really did really like this show. I think if you watch it, I think you'll really enjoy it, especially if you liked all of King Cretaceous. Even if you haven't, I think if you've seen Dominion and you see this, you'll be, wow, like, why wasn't Dominion this? And, you know, that's pretty much it. Chaos Theory, it's Dominion done right. And so, also this video was unscripted, if you could not tell, just because I normally do scripts for the Camp Cretaceous series, but I am working on several big things. Obviously a couple of them have come out, and so, you know, check those out and stay tuned for what's yet to come. I'm Cameron Facer. Spank all those buttons. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you all later. Bye bye.